Sutra 44. Kama, Krodha, Moha, Smriti, Bhramsha, Buddhi Nash, Sarvanash, Karan Twat. Bad association brings lust, anger, delusion, forgetfulness of the goal, and complete ruin. In this aphorism, Sage Narad reveals the qualities of bad association. One who comes into contact with negative association experiences increased levels of lust, anger, delusion, and so forth. Therefore, one should be very wary of keeping such company. By paying attention to the things which are attractive to the senses, one becomes attached to those things. From attachment, desire comes, and from desire comes anger. From anger comes delusion, from delusion, confusion, and from confusion comes a loss of the ability to think logically, which in turn leads to one's ruin. Bhagavad Gita 2.62-63. In his commentary on the preceding verses, Keshav Kashmiri wrote, Lord Krishna states that he who dwells on form, touch, and other sensual stimuli develops attachment for them in his heart, having become deluded into thinking those material objects are capable of giving him real, permanent happiness. From this attachment comes desire, which is merely a mutation of attachment. Sometimes he feels some satisfaction by indulging in enjoyment of these sense objects. When enjoyment of objects that attracts the senses results in pleasure, a state of mind arises whereby one becomes controlled by the very same object that one is desperately seeking to exploit. In other words, one becomes a slave to the sense objects. Sometimes a person cannot attain the object of his desire, and he experiences frustration, which is also simply a mutation of the state of mind. When this happens, a person's anger is directed towards whatever stands between him and the fulfillment of his wants. From anger comes delusion, or the lack of the ability to discriminate between what should and should not be done. When there is confusion in one's ability to reason, and when one forgets the wisdom from the scriptures, as instructed by spiritual masters, one becomes deluded. Delusion is the mind's misinterpretation of the true nature of reality. When a person interprets reality without wisdom, he starts acting to fulfill his desires and lusts, and he loses focus on the goal and purpose of life. Thus, he becomes lost in the oblivion of ignorance. Therefore, control of the mind is essential. An aspirant may feel he is strong enough not to be influenced by the company he keeps. Sage Narad discourages this attitude. Perhaps initially, the aspirant tolerates the bad effect of negative association. With the effects of continual exposure, he will become vulnerable, and later, he himself will take on the negative qualities of others. Just as good company inspires sacred love, bad association awakens lust, anger, and so forth. When a young tree flourishes, she needs protection from stray animals. But when she is fully grown, she gives fruit and shelter to all. In the same manner, an advanced aspirant on the path of devotion is barely affected by negative company. However, in one's spiritual journey, protection from bad company is a necessity.